Howdy, folks. One of the things I found a little bit interesting the last few weeks while we've been on lockdown is talking gardening and showing various folks what all I've been growing and seeing what they're growing and just kind of seeing what people are doing. It's a little easier to pay attention to now that we're here on lockdown and don't have all that much else to do. And also, even though I don't think, society's going to crumble, it's fun to think about growing your own food and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to just take a quick lap around the backyard and show people what we've got going here. So we're going to start on the low end. This poor atrocity here is some kind of citrus. I'm not sure what it is. I transplanted it from the other side of the yard, hoping it would be able to deal with the nitrogen over here on the dog run. This is along the side of the house. But it seems like it's not necessarily going to be able to handle living over here either. There was another, let's see, I think it was a nectarine that was doing pretty sad over here. But the citrus is supposed to be better than nitrogen. But yeah, this guy's really not doing too well. I'm not sure he's going to make it through. I might have to transplant him again, but I'm kind of afraid that if I transplant him again, he's going to come apart in that process and won't survive the transplant. So not really sure what I'm going to do, but as you'll see, we've got quite a bit of citrus, so I'm not too concerned there. So coming around, we've got some random desert plant that I really don't like. I've been talking about taking this thing out for quite a while. It's surprisingly large. I can't even back up far enough to get the whole thing in frame. It was there when we moved in. I don't really like it. It makes these really obnoxious reeds that give you horrible paper cuts. I really don't like them. And it doesn't produce me anything of value. Every now and then it makes some very phallic flower stem things which grow out and have all of its, mating parts on it, which also aren't super attractive. And yeah, just not a huge fan of that thing. Coming around to the back, this is a hydrangea. Every now and then this guy gives me some pretty flowers. It makes, big red blooms like you would expect. But it's kind of hidden back here in the corner. I'm not really sure, what's going on with him. I might, if I do take out whatever the desert reedy horrible thing is, I, may try and get the hydrangea to grow out into that space a little bit. This guy is mostly dead. I'm not convinced it's going to come back this season. It got planted at the same time as some of the ones on the other side of the house, which I'll show you, and you can see why I don't think it's going to make it. It had leaves this last year, but the other ones are actual trees now, unlike this guy. So moving on to things that are doing a little bit better. These are, let's see if I can back up a little bit here, not fall over anything. So this is a pair of almond trees. One of them is a Monterey. I don't remember what the other one is. These tend to do pretty well. They were about the same size as that apple tree when I planted them a couple of years ago. And, yeah, they've done surprisingly well. We've got a whole crop of almonds coming in here. Last year I lost my entire crop of almonds because I decided not to water them and just kind of see how they would do, because I figured I didn't need 1,000,000 almonds. If I got a few, I'd be happy. But what it actually did is both trees still made 1,000,000 little almonds, but then aborted all of them. Instead of making a few good ones, it made a whole lot of unusable ones. So that really wasn't helpful at all. So I'm probably going to try to get my irrigation back up and running this year. So once it starts getting hot and stops raining, then I can, get water on them so that I still get fruit. Speaking of the irrigation, you can kind of see down here. You can see this pipe laying right down there. You can kind of see him in a hole under the shrub here. That pipe has got a split in it, so it just pours out water all the time whenever I turn on the line that runs most of the backyard. So that's why I can't run irrigation right now. So here we've got kind of a horrible shrub thing. It's actually the same plant as that tree there, which is kind of all along outside of the fence. I'm really not a fan of this guy. It takes up a lot of space. I really just want to take it out. But what I've found recently is as I've been cutting it apart, it's been really good to run through the chipper, and it makes really good mulch. So I've been mulching it up for to feed the other plants. So instead of just, kind of tearing it out, I'm just going at it slowly, taking it apart as quickly as I need mulch to feed to other things. So let's see, let's move on here to stuff that's just sitting up on the edge here. This guy looks like he's probably going to die. This is a Plumeria. I've got 4 Plumerias here, which are in different states of not very happy. This one's got a couple of leaf buds there on the top. He might come back when it gets warmer. Same with this one. You can see here he's got a couple of little buds there on the end, and then this one's got an actual, like, almost one full genuine leaf. So yeah, hopefully a few of those will make it. Like I said, I don't think this guy down here on the end is going to make it, but that's all right, depending on what colors they turn out. There's supposed to be a pink one, a red one, a yellow one, and a white one. As long as I'm hoping the pink and the red, but I don't know which ones they are. I hope the pink and the red survive, because those are the ones that I really like. And if they don't, I'll, just order a few more and see what we can do. Let's see, moving on here. This is a 4-in-1 pear tree that I picked up fairly recently. And it does look like all of the different grafts are making leaves. So this guy here is Kiefer. Whoop. This one here, which is just got a couple of buds at the top, is a Bartlett. Then across here, we've got red Bartlett. I'm honestly not sure what this one belongs to. Might be the same stem as this one. And then this one over here, the Summer Crisp, is not doing as well as the others, but you can see it actually, if I can get it to focus. Come on, focus. Or not. Yeah, no, it's just not going to focus for me, but it does have a couple of buds there on the end. They're starting to turn green and be less woody, so I think that's actually going to make leaves, and it should wind up doing all right. So brings us over here. This is one of the cherry trees. I've got another one over here. Not sure which one's which. One of them is a Bing and the other one's a black. These things have never given me fruit. They had fruit on them when I got them, but this is the first year I've gotten real blooms out of one, but being that I have no blooms on the other one, and to my knowledge cherries do need a friend in order to make fruit, it's not looking like I'm going to get fruit again this year either. Let's see, move on down a little bit. We've got the birds of paradise here. Really need to clean these guys up, but when you get up right on them, they are really quite attractive flowers. They're pretty cool. They're one of my favorites. They're one of my wife's favorites as well. So these were here when we moved in, and they're really low maintenance. Surprisingly, they do well whether we water them or not, and they always have kind of the same level of burned tips and things like that whether we water them or not. Again, I think it comes down to kind of poor soil quality and dogs. So, but they do pretty well and they stay green. So we're not really complaining. Move up here into the hanging baskets. These are some strawberries that I pulled runners out of my sister's yard. So they're doing pretty well. Pretty happy with them. We've got strawberries all over the place from them. I just kind of planted them everywhere, seeing where they might live. And I'm basically just going to leave them wherever they take really well. So you can see a few of them have got flowers going on over here. So hopefully those will get us some fruit. Let's see, more birds of paradise, another horrible random desert reedy plant that I don't like. Again, more strawberries flowering there. This guy up here in the corner, he's not doing anything too interesting right now, but this is a banana leaf plant. Which is also known as a giant bird of paradise. Let me climb up here, get you a little closer to him. It flowered last year, so I don't expect we're going to get flowers this year, but you can see from the kind of crusty remnants of the old flowers here that they are exactly the same style as the bird of paradise type of flowers where they open up, but instead of being the oranges and pinks and blues, they're white, which is pretty cool, and they give us a lot of seeds. I've harvested the seeds a couple of times, but I've never tried regrowing them. I've heard in the mill that if you can get these things to grow, they're actually quite expensive. So I may try that as a side hustle one of these days. Trying to get some of those to grow and, selling them on eBay or something because, why not? So let's see. Now, I think I'm going to hop down and shoot here from below. So this guy here is one of my apple trees. I'm not sure which one's which. I've got two apple trees. One of them's a Fuji and the other one is one of those Jubilee. It's another grafted tree. This guy is just starting to bloom. You can see he's got some blooms back there. He's got some buds all over the place. It's given us a few apples last year, but not a whole lot. But it looks like with the number of blooms that we might get a dozen or so. So that wouldn't be too bad. And same thing over here. Like I said, I don't know which one of the apple trees is which. But this one did get some fruit on it last year, which has led to some of these interesting sine wave shaped branches. You can see, it started growing up, and then when it first set fruit, that pulled the branch down. But then as it's been, as things tend to grow up towards the sun, it curves back up at the end. And if it sets fruit, it's going to get pulled down again. So, it's, kind of weird that we have, these little sinusoid branches. But, it seems, overall, it seems to be pretty happy and doing its thing. So I mostly leave them alone. Let's see. This is a basket full of failed reeds and things. I've tried to grow sugarcane, I've tried to grow bamboo, and I can't get anything that is a cane to grow here. This is just some of the chopped up remnants there. And I decided to throw some strawberries in there too. And they seem to be doing, and it looks like there's a little volunteer nightshade here, this little guy. I don't know if he's gonna make it anywhere, but I tend to, there's another one over here too. I tend to throw, bad tomatoes and peppers and things like that just in any of the random hanging baskets or around the garden and just let whatever volunteers come up, and I don't purposely plant nightshades anymore. So this is a cactus. This is one of my wife's cacti. She's had it for a very long time. I don't even remember where it was potted before, but it's been living in this pot for a few years now. And we basically ignore it, and it does pretty well. Its little spines here are actually soft. Ow, they're still sharp, but they are soft. Ow, that hurt a lot. Let's see. This little can here is all of the peach and plum pits from last year. Well, I won't say all, but most. I was considering trying to plant them or something, but they look like they've gotten, kind of moldy and weird. Probably not the best idea at this point. I'll probably just wind up tossing them one of these days. So here we start getting to the things that are actually succeeding pretty well. So this is a frost peach right here. And this guy gave us a couple of peaches last year, but this year it's, creating quite a few more. So it had, maybe a couple hundred blooms on it. You can't see them really well now because, where the blooms are done and we're into the green on green. There's a bloom, so you can see what they look like. But yeah, it looks like we actually might get, 100 or so peaches off of this thing, which would be outstanding because they are very, very good. We had a little bit of problems with worms last year in them. But I mean, we only had like a dozen peaches, but like 3 of them had worms in them, so that's something we gotta look out for. But yeah, overall the tree seems happy. It makes fruit. Can't complain at all. So next to that guy, we've got the most successful tree in the yard. This is a plum tree, and I mentioned at the beginning of the video that little apple tree started at the same time as some of the other trees on this side. Yeah, started at the same time as these guys. So these are, needless to say, doing a little bit better than the apple tree over there. So this one, you can see it's got, little plums all over it that he's starting to grow. He made, maybe a few hundred last year. It was enough that, I could just kind of eat them off the tree anytime I wanted, and had about a 3-month supply of just walking up and grabbing plums whenever I wanted them, but didn't have so many that any were going bad on the tree or anything like that. This year, I think I might get into more than I can eat. So that's interesting. We may have to explore plum jam and things like that. Let's see, and then so yeah, this one is a yellow flesh. It's fairly sweet. It's actually very sweet. They're quite good. They're crisp, and I'm pretty happy with them. So its friend here, not doing quite as well, but still doing, still not doing bad at all. It's also pretty well covered in little plums. Yeah, we're pretty happy with that. This one makes very, very attractive red fleshed plums. They don't taste quite as good as the other ones, but they're more attractive to look at. So, as far as grocery stores go, they'd sell well at a grocery store. Let's see, where do we want to go from here? We'll go down to little baskets here. So most of these are just little experiments and things. This is just an onion. I'm not sure even what kind. I don't remember if this is something where I threw like the bulb base off of some green onions from the grocery store, or if I just like threw some seeds from last year or something like that. I'm not entirely sure where that guy came from, but I figure I'll let him be. And then growing next to it is this kind of interesting little weed. I've seen a few of these. I like that it's red at the bottom. I have no idea what it is, but I'm kind of actively cultivating a couple of them. Next to him, I've got a rose bush. So yeah, these are always the rosebuds that I'm using when I take those pictures, when I do those macros. Let's see if I can get this into focus. No, you're not going to focus for me. Fine. And then this has got a couple more of those kind of weird red bottom weeds that I'm cultivating. Here's a kind of a bigger example. This one I actually transplanted from a raised bed because I didn't want it over there, but I didn't want to kill it because I think it's interesting. Behind him, I've got an aloe plant that's getting covered in weeds. The aloe plant is another one that we've had for a long time. Cat had it in that little pot over there at the last house in Pacifica, and he's actually in the ground now. You can barely see up through here with all the weeds there. Let me pull some of this away. But yeah, it made a pup recently, so there's a pup growing off of him. So I'm going to have to learn how to separate that off and see if I can have 2 aloe plants instead of 1. Then this one, this is a some kind of trumpet vine or something like that, and I originally was hoping they would grow to cover the pergola, but I've kind of since abandoned that, and yeah, just kind of letting it do its thing here, see what it grows into. I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's an ornamental, but I'm not going to kill it because it's there. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Got some more strawberries over here, same story as before. This is another one of those Jubilee grafted pears. This one's a year old and it never really took, which is why I wound up getting the other one. So this one I'm assuming is dead at this point and will get ripped out here, as soon as I have something better to put here than a dead stick. More strawberries. Amusingly, we have more strawberries in here, which are actually not dead, surprisingly, which is funny because that's just like shredded cardboard and some other crap in a pot. Then over here, this is, I don't know, some kind of orange or lime or something. It's not a lemon. The lemon trees do well. None of the other ones really do. None of the other citrus does. This is that nectarine that used to live over on the other side of the house. I'm pretty sure it's dead as well. And yeah, I was transplanting it over here, hoping it would survive, but it didn't. But yeah, so I'll probably tear it out, and I may move the other big citrus tree, whatever it was, back over here because it was doing better over here. But again, I'm kind of afraid that doing the migration will actually kill it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So yeah, then we get into kind of the rest of the citrus here. This is one of the lemon trees. This is one that I put in. You can see he's got a bunch of lemons over here. The lemons out here tend to be surprisingly sweet. Most people wouldn't eat them like oranges probably, but I do. Sometimes I'll put stevia leaves on them, and that helps sweeten them up a little bit. Let's see. This is some kind of orange tree, I think. I've got like tangelos, oranges, limes, and then the 2 lemons, but nothing but the lemons ever give me fruit. Yeah, so that one's a lime right there, I think. And then this is This is the big lemon tree that was here when we moved in, and you can see he's making a few there. And if we look inside, I think this guy's got a few lemons, yeah, a few big lemons on him in there, you can kind of see. So this thing gives us lemons year round. We get, probably a dozen lemons a month we can pull off of this thing year round, so can't really complain about him. Another one of those horrible trees. I really don't like them, but again, they make mulching material, so can't complain too much. This is Doggo. Let's see, then if we go back and look at the other side, this is my most deliberate raised bed. These are all harvested seeds, harvested onion seeds that I just kind of threw in the bed over here to see how they would do. Then over here we've got this is volunteer stevia. So I did an experiment with stevia pretty much because people said it was hard to grow. So I got 100 seeds last year, really took care of them, got 4 plants to grow, planted them, let them come up. They all died in the winter, and then this is what came back. So you can see that, this one here is just, 2 stems. This one's 2 or 3 stems. This is a whole cluster of them. And then there's this thing, which is like, a million stems. So it's kind of interesting how that's come together. Back here, strawberries again. We've got like some random nightshades growing up between the strawberries, fighting for space here. Again, I just kind of, throw things that are in nightshade family into wherever and hope they grow. This is some oregano that was rotting on the kitchen counter that I just threw in here today, so we'll see if it takes or not. Worst case scenario, it'll be compost. Then we've got some of the nightshades that volunteered a little while ago, so we're starting to, we've got some flowers over here and some flowers over there. So we'll learn pretty soon here if these are tomatoes or peppers or what they are. And again, more strawberries, more little volunteer nightshades. We'll see what happens with them. So let's see, what else have we got? Then the last thing of any interest is just another ornamental. Is this guy? I saw one of these in my dentist office of all places, and had to have one. It's really pretty cool because the leaves and the green leaves and the red stalk are actually the same. Oop, can't really see. Yeah, they're actually, all in one. The stalk winds up spreading out and greening and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. And then if you get in close, you can see that it holds water. So it holds basically a little cup of water for itself all the time, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And then this guy is also making friends. You can see there's one right there that it's working on a second one. And then there's a bigger one over here where it's working on making another one. I have no idea if these things can be separated or if they wind up just growing in clumps or what they do, but it's just a super pretty, super interesting plant. And yeah, I just had to have one. So yeah, that's about the interesting tour of the garden that I've got right now. And happy social distancing. Please like, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.